Continuing here, that group Three Dog Night, when my daughters were pretty young, back in the 90s, I remember taking them to Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk there, and that group, among others, was playing there for free. Got to see Jan and Dean, Dead Man's Curve and all that. In fact, they were autographing stuff for people coming down. It was pretty cool. Little experiences like that in life, are fun to have. But anyhow, to continue my sentence, yeah. So like a squirrel, I mean, there's no sense in gathering too many nuts, but like you say, you might be planting a few for later. It might be like an instinct, where it says, hey, I'm an old squirrel. I forgot where I put my nuts. So sue me. Good luck getting any money. I might give you a couple of nuts that I've saved, but other than that, you're not getting crap. I'm thinking of titling this video today, Life's Short, Get Smart Quick. And, back in the 60s, there was a sitcom, very popular sitcom. Get Smart was the name of it. And it was really a lot of fun to watch. This guy was really goofy. What was his name? Adam something or other. I can't remember. But he was very funny. And his sidekick, the lady, I can't remember her name, but he was basically a spy, and he had a phone that was stashed in his shoe. I mean, nobody heard of a phone that small. There was no cell phone, certainly back in the 60s. There was no cell phones back in the 70s. It was the 80s that cell phone use started getting widespread. Because before that, it was pay phones, man, everywhere. Put in a dime and make your call, and they were everywhere. But if you had to make a call away from home, because landlines, of course, were popular. But anyhow, friends, listen, I guess that was a long enough pontification period. I'm going to get right on to some recent current events. There's a lot going on, with this George Floyd thing and the rioting and the protesting and the looting. It's all getting lumped up. So you got a few bad apples out there. How many flies in the ointment? Okay, does it take to ruin the ointment? How many turds in the punch bowl does it take to ruin the punch? So that's what it is. Because I support, just like the law enforcement supports us. We had our local sheriff come out here, Corey Honia, and he's a really nice guy. He seems very intelligent, guy with integrity. I mean, and that's what you'll see in the vast majority of law enforcement leaders in America are of the highest caliber in terms of honorableness and integrity and nobility and all those good qualities you want in law enforcement. Smart people. So they too know that, the laws of man are fickle and changing, and they keep that in mind. And, they've got slack. They have some discretion on what they can bust you for. So if you have the right attitude, a lot they can let you off. I mean, I've had it happen to me throughout my life, and it'd be nice to see it happen to other people, and then they have a sweet taste toward law enforcement instead of a bitter one like we have now. I mean, this is traumatic. This is horrific. And that's what our sheriff came out and said. He said, look, point blank, this was a message to all law enforcement in our entire county of over 220,000 people, was that it's illegal. Okay, you got that? You cannot commit homicide in the abduction of somebody. Okay, you've already got them restrained. I mean, it was completely just a senseless killing in front of the whole world. And we got to wonder, it makes everybody wonder, well, how many times has this happened with other sadistic law enforcement officers? I mean, turds in the punch bowl, flies in the ointment. Okay, it doesn't take many. I mean, it's like muddying the water. You see, this is why it's so important to have a relationship with God. He's the only one I know of that I can tell you. This is one that can clear up that water for you, make it nice and clear, calm, cool, clean, all those things you want in water, right? And water that I'm referring to as an analogy for life, for reality, and distinguishing between reality, which God dictates, and unreality, what Satan, this world system, dictates. And it's dramatic. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about here. And it's like, wow, man, the light, I just turned the light on. I was born again. I got it. I get it. I don't want, I want clean hands, man. I want to get out of this thing alive with my soul. And I want to be found worthy and deserving of inheriting a better world. And you can have it. I can have it. But you know what? I mean, parenting evil people, cool. You think I want to do that? You want to think I like speaking truth to power? Knowing that they're seething with hatred toward me, just like they did with Jesus? They hate you, man. If you're exposed, they hated JFK. Yeah, we'll blow the freaking head of the state of the most powerful nation on earth. We'll blow his brains out. You got that? That's how we roll. You got that? And now we're in debt to this Federal Reserve for almost $30 trillion. And have you seen, I just want to educate people here. You understand how the Labor Department could have avoided this? Because if every year they came out and said that, and that's where the rubber met the road. They said, look, we're going to make a cost of living adjustment upward. And the employers were up in arms. What do you mean by mandated federal law? I've got to pay my employees more. Who are you to tell me? Unscrupulous employers, masters, bosses that would take advantage of docile, passive workers. The most valuable asset of any nation, according to the greatest economist that ever lived, Adam Smith. Every nation's single greatest asset. At the end of the day, it was kind of a duh factor. Duh. Well, anything and everything can get done if you've got a willing workforce. But if you don't, in light of the fact that slavery is illegal and definitely immoral and ungodly, labor is your single greatest asset. You could sit on a mountain of capital. You could own all the tea in China. It's not going to get you bupkis if you don't have willing workers. So workers are the most valuable. So the Labor Department, if they protected worker rights and protected everybody's rights, because this is going to filter down to everybody. You understand? It's through attrition. That's why you'd see a dwindling middle class. Well, they've already squeezed all the blood out of the poor turnips. The docile, passive people, now they're coming, of course they're coming for the middle class, because they're all dead. The blood's been taken from them. They're off that hamster wheel. Whatever way they did, it killed them. They're completely miserable and broken and hopeless. Or whatever, they willed themselves disabled to go on Social Security. Whatever they did, they got off that hamster wheel. But through attrition, you understand, it's just a diminishing, slow, gradual erosion. They've got to go for the higher fruit, and that's the middle class. You know, gobble you up, create the wealth imbalance. I mean, it's a historical thing. Feudalism, they've been doing this all through history over and over. They cannot let the people be free. Then they can't steal from them. It's all about theft. It's all about theft. So the Labor Department is definitely culpable. Definitely is. They've been deliberately remiss, and it's as obvious as the day is long. Okay? It's as clear as the light of day. Because it's an easily calculated quantity. Okay, that's what it is. The consumer price index. So they say they know if it went up or down. And like I said, if it went down, then they lower wages. So that we have a gradual raising of all the boats as the rising tide of prosperity encroaches. You understand? So we can all be rich gradually, and we'll figure it out. Okay? That's what would happen. That's true capitalism. That's supply and demand capitalism. That's free market capitalism. That's true capitalism. Okay? What we've had this whole time is not. There's a reason why we came up with a federal minimum wage in the first place, and it was to thwart unscrupulous employers that would take advantage of docile, passive employers. It's so important everybody understands this. But if 2 years in a row the Labor Department came out, hey, somebody's manipulating markets, somebody's rigging prices, or at least point to the direction, don't blame the workers, but we're giving another minimum wage increase, and the employers were up in arms. Oh my God, how dare you! Right? But the workers are completely innocent. They didn't do anything. They don't want their cost of living to rise. Why do they want currency debasement? Why would they dilute their own currency? So it's like having a gold coin and saying, no, I'm going to pour some other crap in there. Why would you do that and devalue it? It's not worth as much anymore. That's what they've done. I mean, these people are turds in the punch bowl of humanity's happiness. And thank God, God knows it. Thank God he's a friend of the righteous, the meek who shall inherit this earth, the renewal of all things. So all the organic bad things are gone. You make a list of organic bad things that bug you. I'm bitching and moaning throughout the day. I take my supplication. God, I'm miserable. What the hell with this heat? This, that, the next thing. I got these ailments. Oh my God. I'm always complaining. Believe me, for good reason, man. I don't like organic suffering of any form. The sun is too damn bright. What the hell's going on here, God? It says in Scripture you can go boldly before his throne and ask those questions. But at the end of the day, just remember who's going to give you the last breath you have. Who gave you the first breath you ever had. So it's always important to have that reverence for God. Like King Solomon said, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. So, but it's the other stuff that really bugs me, that picks on people. Okay, that's selective. That's the stuff that's invented. It has everything to do with money. And it's giving privilege and it's giving advantage to certain people. And it's just all completely mad. Okay, the whole system is completely insane. It's satanic. It makes no rhyme or reason, and it's wrong. And I've got a question about this George Floyd, which I haven't heard anybody in the media ask. And that's a curiosity to me, too, because I know I'm not the smartest guy in the world, okay? That counterfeit bill, they say at first I heard it was a 10 on TMZ is where I heard it was a $10 bill, that the store owner suspected was suspicious, and they wanted to confiscate it from him, okay? And George Floyd said, no. Okay, I'm keeping it. Did they even check? And I want to know what that bill turned out to be. But then later they came out and said it was a $20 bill. Oh, I guess that makes it more important. Oh, it was a 20, man. He got murdered over. Maybe it was he tried to pass off a fake 20, man. You see how sick and perverted money, the root of all evil. We can't handle it. It too easily corrupts us. It's too enticing, too alluring. We can't resist it. We all love it. God knows we do. So you've got to confess it. Say, okay, let's figure this out. Because I don't get any waiver. I don't get any opt-out, Lord God. I need it to survive, to exist. Okay, that's just the paradigm. That's the way it is here. Satanic or whatever. Okay, I've got to comply and conform and bow down to this system to some degree. You understand why I love money? And he says, yes, I do, child. I do. I understand that you can't go it alone, that we have to do this together. Just care about the least of men. The least you could do is pay a tithe. Give a tenth of your income. And you certainly don't give it to somebody that's got more money than you. You give it to at least somebody that's got less than you. That's your choice. Do you understand how this works? It breaks that cheapskate spirit in all of us. We all have it because we all love money. Of course we love money. We're not idiots. What kind of fool doesn't love money, for God's sake? Right? Isn't that the reality? Well, for what reason? Well, it pays my bills. It's why I have a phone. It's why I have this, why I have that, why I have a duh. Don't get asked stupid questions. You're going to get a stupid answer, idiot. Of course I love money. Trying to tell me you don't love money? Well, I both love and hate, as all the righteous do. They get it. They are eager, okay? They are antsy. They are anxious to live in a world without any form of money at all. Do you understand? Nobody in that realm that wants to get any advantage over you. That's the place I want to be. That's the place I want to be found worthy and deserving of going to. And only you can decide that. Only you can grasp onto it, just like me. I mean, that's it, man. So I want to care about the least of men right now. It says, use worldly wealth to win friends for you so you'll be welcomed into eternal homes. This is biblical stuff. The Bible is very idealistic. I mean, to the counterculture, I would say, man, learn your history. Learn how many people died to bring you to ensure that book made it to the 21st century. Look into it. They hated you. The priests, the religious authoritarians, man. Do you understand? It's so anti-religious. The Bible is so anti-religious. The teachings of Jesus are so anti-religious. It ain't funny, man. They tried to lump Jesus in with the religionists. It was a pejorative. Everybody knew these. Oh, these are the authorities. These are where the lawyers and legalists hang out. And they call the shots. They're with the politicians and the rulers. And then they got the armed forces behind them. So people were intimidated by the religious leaders, which was antithetical to the true character of God. So Jesus retorted. I mean, he would have said, F you. I know what you're up to, you liars. You diabolical, cunning snakes, you brood of vipers, like he called them over and over, who warned you to flee from the coming wrath. But he said, no. What is religion? I mean, what are that's reason